Right now, if you are planning to buy a Daytona or any other steel Rolex for that matter, you're pretty much left with two options. You could either get on one of these wait lists, which is a very deceptive term in that case, or you could say, screw that, and pay almost double for a Daytona on the grey market. So if neither of these two options are your thing, then you have clicked on just the right video for you. Hi, I'm Jenny, and today I want to show you 3 chronographs that one-up a Daytona in at least one category, so let's get started. Right, when starting to talk about watches that are technically more advanced than Rolex, Omega is almost always one of the first brands that come up. I mean, I did title one of my videos with How to Kill the Submariner when reviewing the Seamaster Diver 300M. It's technically more advanced, on the same level in terms of quality of finishing, costs half as much, and is readily available. But a watch that many overlook is the chronograph version of this popular Omega diver. What you get with this one is a practically almost perfectly finished chronograph, so let's take a closer look at this one. This chrono comes in the Omega typical case shape with its curved lines, a satin finish on the top and sides, and a white polished edge to make it all come together. The bezel is made from practically scratch-proof ceramic, and Omega has also fitted the chrono pushers with the same material. So great news for all of you out there who do not want to baby their watch but still prefer to have the brand new look for as long as possible. Arguably the craziest part on any Seamaster Diver 300M is the dial. Everything about the hour markers, the luminous material, and the hands look like a computer rendering because it is so flawless. The dial itself is also made from polished ceramic, which gives it almost like this mirror-like or liquid look. The movement on this Omega is equally impressive and clearly one-ups Rolex when it comes down to technicality. Omega runs tests on their movements that are known to be one of the toughest in the watch business out there. So your Omega chronograph is not only a certified chronometer, which means that it runs with an accuracy of give or take 2 seconds per day, but on top of that, it is also Meta certified that only allows deviations from 0 to +2 seconds per day. And if that wasn't enough, you get a pretty much entirely anti-magnetic movement, which means that speakers or induction cookers or something similar like that is not going to have any impact on your watch and its accuracy. The only, I would say, perceived drawback of this watch is its size. Not only is it rather large with a diameter of 44 millimeters, but it's also rather thick, as you can see here. Definitely something for the bigger wrists out there, but besides the size, you'll get this amazing Omega chrono starting at around 6,800 euro, which technically is only 25% of the price you have to pay for a Daytona on the grey market. Released in 2020, this Breitling Chronomat is something old, something new, something borrowed for this video, but it's not something blue. It is a revamped version of the original Chronomat that Breitling introduced in 1942, borrowing its design and bringing back the vintage Breitling nostalgia. What many Breitling fans especially appreciate is that they are now again using their in-house caliber for their watches. The new B01 is said by many on YouTube or forums to be one of the best chronographs since the 2000s, and it's also used in other Breitling watches like the historic Navitimer or the classic Breitling Premier. It's a highly developed column wheel chronograph, which means that the chronograph function is working very precisely and smoothly, so without any hiccups when pushing it. Convenient is also the 70-hour power reserve, so you can put it down over the weekend and put it back on Monday without having to reset it. But with most things in this price sector, it's not only practical but also very nice to look at with its beautiful movement finissage that you can see through the case back. The case itself and the bracelet are also very well made, with a satin finish on the sides and top and a polished face, which gives the case shape a very striking look. What's also really beautiful is the very subtle green dial color and what you can actually see on it. Perfectly applied hour markers with sharp hands and a very minimalistic Breitling logo without the wings and the 3 subdials for the chrono and the edit date at 6 o'clock. Like I said in the beginning, this is something old, new and borrowed, which makes this chronograph extra special. Breitling can look back at quite a heritage, being founded when Hans Wilsdorf was only 3 years old. Breitling established itself itself as one of the best watchmakers of the 20th century, specializing in manufacturing industrial and military goods. Reminiscent of that spirit is especially the bracelet, which looks almost identical to the one used on the OG Chronomat from 1942. Same as the Seamaster, this Chronomat is also better suited for bigger wrists, as you can see here on both rather small wrists, but with a price of $7,700, it's still a fraction of the price for a Daytona on the market. So the Jaeger-LeCoultre Polaris was basically JLC's answer to all those critics from the watch community who claimed that even though they are a fantastic watchmaker, their designs are very interchangeable and unremarkable, and at times too elegant to be truly versatile. Well, luckily for us, JLC also offers a Polaris chronograph, so now I want you to kick back, relax, and enjoy this one with me. The one I got here is the version on the leather strap, but there's also a steel bracelet available for those who like it a bit more sturdy. Compared to the two watches I have showed you before, this one is still one-upping them, especially when it comes to the following 3 points. Number one has to be the movement. Inside beats, how could it be any different? JLC's in-house caliber 751H, a column wheel chronograph with a 65-hour power reserve. And when actually using it, you can really feel how much smoother the pusher feels when pressing down. It's a bit difficult to describe, but it's a really satisfying feeling. The pressure point is just right and also very precise. Another great detail is also the Jaeger-LeCoultre emblem on the skeletonized rotor on the back. Point number 2 is the dial. What you get here is a depth of detail that is really hard to find in other watches at that price point. The dial itself consists of multiple levels or segments which show different textures. The segment on which you can find the hour markers on has this very fine granular structure, which does remind me a lot of the Lange & Söhne Odysseus, which is, mark you, 30,000 euros more expensive than this Jaeger-LeCoultre. The rest, so the inner and the outer part, is finished with a subtle sunburst. I mean, it comes without saying that the hour markers themselves as well as the hands are perfectly finished like the rest of the dial. The point number 3 has to be the price itself, with a price of about 11,300 on the steel bracelet and 10,300 euros on a leather strap. It comes closer to the Daytona than any other watch in today's video, but with a Jaeger-LeCoultre, you're usually able to get a discount when asking respectfully, whereas purchasing a Daytona altogether remains a daydream for most of us. So with this Jaeger-LeCoultre, you will get a watch that comes close to other giants like Lange & Söhne or Patek Philippe that mostly cost double or even more than that. Additionally, you're definitely going to get approving nods by most watch lovers out there for this one. Right, now you have seen 3 chronographs that are up to 75% less expensive compared to the free market price of a Daytona, but which are either just as good or better. But the one thing all 3 of these watches are lacking is the Rolex factor. If that's something you're into, the fact that you can flip the watch for almost double the price one day after buying it. But for those who are looking for a true quality piece, they are well advised to try on any of the 3 watches I have shown you today. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this selection and which one of the 3 is your favorite. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and I will see you in my next one. Bye! Jaeger-LeCoultre. I had to practice again for saying that. Jaeger-LeCoultre. Jaeger-LeCoultre.